Just a second. Let me make sure I've got the right microphone on. Oh, Okay, can you hear me now? Just making sure you can hear me. Sorry about that. I realized that I had set up the other microphone and I did not have it on my body. So when I go to switch over to the machine, we'll go that route. Um, had some questions. I'm going to answer the ones that were asked immediately, and then I will go into basically today. I'm going to talk to you all about using your motifs and your decorative fills with the new XP3 or an XP1 and 2 upgraded to have version 3 on the upgrade on it. Okay, so see everybody popping in. Good to see you. You're getting me en natural today. I've been in meetings this morning and this afternoon, and so my hair is still wet. It's just popping in. So we're, no makeup. You're getting the true Cindy today. You're getting just the whole all natural. So good to see you guys. Thanks for popping in today with me. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Good to see you, Marilyn. I saw some of you last weekend, and that was fun. I got to see a lot of people in person. It was a great weekend. We enjoyed it. Good to see you crafting with Marilyn. So hopefully everybody's doing well. The world is going good for you. My brother started his treatments yesterday, so we are on the road to something. Hopefully, looking good. So hopefully he's going to do well with these treatments, and that will help take care of the issue. We shall see. But good news is he started finally, so that is awesome. So, oh, well, thank you. 14 of you are watching and only 3 likes. Come on, hit the like button. Yes. So, all right, guys. Let's talk first of all about the one question that I had. How do you put a knockdown stitch behind it and make it cover the whole thing? Okay. So I'm assuming Sawani stitches that is in PE Design 11. Okay. So that's where I'm going to go with this one. So let me see here. Yvonne, if you cannot update directly on in the software itself, go to support.brother.com and download the update, and it will update it for you. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and grab the text tool, and we're just going to put in some text. It doesn't really matter here. Oops, I needed the Control Enter to go to that second line of text. Got to remember which program I'm in. So we'll say I am live today is going to be my text. And I'm going to center that text on itself and then Control M to put it in the middle. Oops, I do have to click on the text again to make that work. Okay, now, if I wanted to put a knockdown stitch around this little guy, the cheater's method of doing this is to do an embroidered patch wizard. Or there's actually a couple of ways, but the embroidered patch wizard is the cheater's way of doing this, is what I'll tell you. If you click OK, you'll notice how it goes around that extra area. Now, if you come in here and you zoom in and you don't like what it did, for instance, see how this is the I is separated from the am. I'm going to show you how to fix that. So you can tell that there are 2 text segments. There are 2 segments there. So I'm going to grab this one. Double click on it, and I'm going to go to my select tool and my select point tool, and I am going to overlap these 2 little guys right here. Okay. And you can overlap it however you deem fit. I'm going to make mine like that right there. And if you don't like this part in the middle here, you can click on this one and take these little pieces right here out. If you wanted that more surrounded, you can. I'm going to leave those in for now. But in order to make this work, we have to turn these into a decorative fill, or I come in here, not a decorative fill. I'm going to hit the select patterns icon, and I'm going to change this to a net fill stitch. And my favorite one for the knockdown is the one that has all of the every direction in there. I think it does the best job for a knockdown. So now that we have a fill in those sections, we can go modify overlap and merge. Once those are merged, now you can take those pieces and move them to the beginning, and now you have your knockdown stitch. Change it to two matching colors, whatever. I usually make it the color that is going to be, what am I going to say, that will meld into my background. So whatever I'm doing, the decorative, the net fill, the knockdown is what I would personally put as my, the same color as my towel or whatever I'm putting it on. So does that answer that question? The reason, it depends on how far away you extend it from your original pattern. And that really does make a difference. How far away did you extend it from your original pattern? If you take it to 2 millimeters, that's about as close as you can get. Let me go back and look at that. We'll look and see. Let's delete this one again, and I'll go back over that one more time. Let me grab both of those pieces and select them, and we'll hit delete. So if I select my text one more time, and we go to the embroidered patch wizard, distance from original pattern. If you have it down to 1, you're going to get much more. So if you have it down at 1, you'll notice how it gets much closer to everything. And that doesn't crisscross over areas. If you undo that and you go up to 2 millimeters, I don't know what that is in inches. I'd have to basically do the conversion. You'll notice how now it's close to being overlapping, but not totally. So that's why I adjusted that shape. But then if you switch it and you go up to 3 or 2.5, it should automatically cross over. See how that one at 2.4, it automatically joined itself right here because it overlaps that area. So that's how you can actually play around with that. And if you then go back in and grab it, you can select patterns, choose a net fill stitch. Oops, net fill stitch, not zigzag fill. The third option is the one that I like for this, and I usually make it tight. It's just my personal preference. If y'all don't like it that tight, y'all can change it to something that you like, but I personally like it a little bit tighter so that it will actually keep those kind of tucked down. So I have no idea why it's blurry today. Could not tell you that. Try watching it instead. It may be your internet. Okay. Yes, there is an update for PE Design 11. If you open your software up, it should tell you there is an update out there. I honestly do not know what it changed for me, but just letting you know that it's there. Okay. So that is how you fix that little overlap. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is one of the features that was added to the XP3. Okay, or an XP1 or 2 that's been upgraded with the features for 3. And that is the ability to bring in your own decorative fills and own motif stitches for outlines. Okay, so in PE Design, you have quite a few of them built in already. So especially for motifs, there are 89 of them, I believe, that are built in. Let's go look and see. So if I came in here and I grabbed a shape, and let's just do a circle, that'll work. And I changed the outline to a motif stitch. I'm just going to turn off the fill for right now so y'all can see. When I click on my motif stitch, it brings up my motif menu. And there are a total of 89 that are built into the software. 90 that are built into the software now. Plus, I have some that I've added. So any that I create myself can be used over there, as well as all of the ones that are built into the software. Okay. So let's say I wanted to use one of these. Let's say I wanted to use this heart right here over in my design center. I can certainly do that now. So there is an easy way to grab them all. If you go into your Windows Explorer and you go into your C drive, hold on a second and I'll show you. I go into my C drive and I choose Program Files x86. You will see Brother. Once you see Brother, you should see PE Design 11. And in PE Design 11, you have Pattern. And this is all of your decorative fills, all of your motifs, all of your stamps, all of that stuff. So if you want to take it all over there at once, so you have everything that you have, put a USB drive into your computer. So I've got a USB drive I just popped in here. And now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go click in this folder, Control A, copy it, and then go find that drive, and I'm going to put it in a folder. So I'm going to go new folder, and I'm going to put motifs and fills. And then paste, right mouse click and paste, and all of those fills will go right in there. So whoever had a blurry screen, it must be your internet connection today. So now you can see that all of my motifs and fills are there. So I'm going to safely eject this hardware. And now we can go over to the machine. So let me make sure, first of all, that my microphone is working before I hit over there. Hold on a sec. Make sure we've got the right one turned on. All right, let's see here. Settings. Audio. Let's change to this one. All right, can you all hear me? Yes. It looks like my microphone is working. So, all right, let me go flip over to the, let me change my cameras and I'll go over there. So let's go back in and change the camera to the correct camera. All right. So it has to be the upgrade, Sharon, in order to use the patterns, just so you know. So, all right, here we go. So what did I do with that USB drive? Oh, I've already got one over here with it in it, so I don't have to do that. Okay. So let me touch my screen and wake up my machine, and we're going to go into my design center. Now, when you grab a stamp or shape or whatever you're doing, let's say I want to grab one of these guys, and I want this right here. And you'll notice, as part of your update, all of your stamps and shapes are now numbered, which is really cool. So no longer do I have to tell you, third row, whatever. They're all numbered. We can tell you exactly the number of them. When you touch OK, when you go into size, as part of the update, not upgrade, update is free. You also have the 10 touchpad, the 10 key touchpad, to where you can say, okay, I want that to be 4 inches. Set it by 4 inches. So I can actually punch in a size without having to hold down my tool here to resize, which is quite nice. Now I'm going to come into my properties and I'm going to choose my outline stitch here. When I do that, the last option is your decorative ones. Touch select. The upgrade will give you custom. To find them, touch the pocket. And then find where your folder that you moved those over to. And it'll hunt for the ones that you've got. So these are the ones that I have. That heart that I was talking about just a minute ago, there's my heart. I can touch OK, touch OK again, pick a color, touch OK, and then paint bucket it in. Now when I touch next, there's my heart motif. The same, I can come in and I can flip it to where it's going the opposite direction. So your controls that you already have in my design center are available for you. So this part right here is upgrade, Shirley. So using your own custom motifs from P Design is upgrade. If it's with the G in it, that's going to cost some green. So that gives you that idea. This is your sizing. So you also have the resizing options that you had previously. You're just using it with your own instead of having to use the ones that are built in. So this expands your library exponentially. Same thing happens. So I'm going to go home again, my design center, and let's go into our stamps and shapes, and let's just grab a filled shape. Let's do this guy right here. So if I go into my properties and I touch my decorative fill option, when I touch select as part of the upgrade, you get custom.
So if I want to see where I've got designs, I come in and touch that file folder, go back into my motifs and fill folder. And these are the ones that I have that were on my USB. So some of the ones we already have built into my design center because they were built into my design center and PE design. But then you have ones that are just PE design. So some of these down here are just PE design. This one right here, for example. Touch OK, pick your color, touch OK again, your paint bucket, and tap it. So next, now the cool part about this is in PE design, we don't have that option of turning off that outline. It automatically goes on regardless, and it automatically does it thick. So in my design center, you can choose to go the single run option with the motifs that you bring in, which I think is really cool. And you, as always, have the capability of resizing them. So you can go up, I think it's to 200%. It'll knock at you when you can't go any further, and down to 60%. So that's kind of fun. And if you've changed your mind, you go in and select, once again, out of the memory pocket, motifs and fills, and pick the one you want. So this is one that I've created. Let's pick it. Touch OK, and touch OK again. Now, there you go. It's automatically adjusted it. I want to turn my outline on. And now my decorative fill is there. Okay. So that is fun, fun, fun. And that is update. Okay. I'm going to come back to the computer and see if I have other questions. So let's see here. Let me come back over to me. All right, guys, let me go back up here and read. So yes, I'm on Windows 11, and the only issues I'm having are with my antivirus program. My firewall and antivirus is driving me nuts. The rest of it's perfectly fine. Okay, let's see here. Barb, I am coming to Michigan in November. I think it's the second week in November. I'll be at Novi. So how did I bring all the motifs up at once? That was because I went into my Windows operating system and I copied and pasted them out of the program files. So I'll show you that one more time. And Sharon, as I said, the patterns are with the upgrade. That is part of the upgrade feature. So not update. Okay. Let's see here. What else have we got? And yes, it is awesome. A hot dog, it is awesome. So it's kind of fun. They are very much fun to play, and you get more control over them over there than you have in PE design, which is kind of funny, to be honest. So good to see you, Cindy. Well, why don't you send some of those canned tomatoes my way? Yes, I had to access my USB. So you have the two USB ports at the top. You're basically your mouse or your regular USB. I had stuck mine in the USB slot, and that's where it is. All right, I will show you how to create your own in just a second, because I knew that was going to be a question. So give me just a second. I do not have any plans to go to Arizona right now. I was asked to come from All Queens for an event that they were going to do, but it was during Houston Quilt Festival, and I could not do that. I'll show you where they are open. Oh, so how you want to know how I saw them all in PE Design 11 at once? Hold on just a second, and I'll show you. All right, so let me see here. If you come over to your sewing attributes window over here on the right-hand side, click the sewing attributes. When you click on this, it brings up a window with all of the motifs that are in your program, including ones that you've created and have saved in there. Okay. But what I did to take them all over at one time was I opened my File Explorer, Windows Explorer, and went into Program Files, x86, Brother, PE Design 11, and Patterns. That's where they're all located. So the ones that say motif file, those are the outlines. The ones that say decorative fill, those are the ones that you can use in the fill. Okay. Let me close this out. And let me come and answer some more questions. So let's see here. Marsha, I haven't had problems with either of my programs. What I have had problems with is my antivirus protection software and my firewall. It keeps blocking me out of everything. Let's see here. What else do we have? Do I think the upgrade is worth it? I think it has some really cool stuff on it. For sure, update. Okay, but the upgrade has three pieces of hardware in it. It has the new foot controller, it has the new infoot, and it has the new stylus with it. So those are the three hardware pieces that are in it. It has the new stitch tapering on it on the sewing side. Heather's Luminaire is in for a spa day, and I'm about to go off to my brother's again before hitting the road again. So we still are not doing an education connection one this month. I'm trying to think. Stitch tapering, the guideline flip is part of the update. I'll see if I can't show you what's in upgrade versus update here in just a second. Okay, let me show you how to create a motif, and then we'll go on further from that. There are no updates right now on BES4. Everything is as it stands. I have approved an update, but it has not been released yet, so I don't know. Yes, I will be at Novi in November. I will actually also be in Wisconsin in the first week of September, so I'll be at the Wisconsin show, and I do not have any plans to go to Iowa right now. So let's see here. No, they cannot be saved to the machine. They actually will stay in that memory where you pulled them up until you filled the pocket. And once you fill the pocket, it drops off the one that you haven't used most frequently. So I would not use up my machine memory for that. And as far as I know, there's not a way to save them there. They just sit there. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm using. So, I don't have a VPN. I have not turned on the VPN part. So I've chosen not to do that. The new Move It Foot, I do believe, is coming in the full machine. So not in the upgrade, but if you buy an XP3, I think the compact Move It Foot comes in it. The compact Move It Foot came out last year. So for those of you that have an XP2, you could purchase that as an accessory. Okay. And the new 10x10 magnetic frame, I actually got to see it for the first time this weekend. That's a nice, sweet little piece of equipment. I expect to see mine coming in soon. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, a lot of dealers are doing it as a package upgrade, which is kind of nice. P Design 11 should be on your USB stick that came with it. If it's not, if you somehow deleted it, that's not a good thing. Don't save things to that USB stick, girls and boys. Make sure that you only save things to other USB drives so that you don't accidentally delete something that you need. Also, never let your antivirus software scan it, okay? But you can go to support.brother.com and search for P Design 11, and there is a full version there that you could download. And as long as your USB device is still recognized as the security dongle, you can do it, okay? So Cheryl, all of the stuff that I've done for BES4, unless I say it calls for a power pack or it's a wireless feature, you can use the same stuff for BES Blue. BES Blue is the base level of BES4 without wireless and without the BES cloud, okay? All right, so let's talk about how you go about creating your own motif, and I'll do one more brief one on how to create a decorative fill, because I think I've done those a gazillion times, but we'll go back and do it again here. And then don't let me forget the question that was asked a minute ago that I don't remember what it is. So we are going to go into the programmable stitch creator from layout and editing. Okay, so you go up to the options pull down menu and choose programmable stitch creator. All right, so for a motif stitch, you come up here and you choose new motif pattern. And everything has to be created between the blue square and the red square, okay? It's like one piece of string. Everything has to go with that. Now, if you are doing something and you want it to be circular or round, you turn the grid all the way to none. Okay, that way you can move it wherever you want to go. If you have a grid up, it's going to snap to the grid regardless. Okay, that is the difference between the two. Now, if you want to have a template behind it so you can draw around it, let's see here. What do I have on my computer that we might be able to use? Let me go into here and go to Program Files and go to Brother and Clip Art. Let's see what we've got in here. Oops. So let's say I want to do this apple. I don't think I want to do the apple today, but we can. Yeah, the apple's more than I want to mess with. So let me open another template. Let's see here. What have we got that's a little easier than an apple? How about a star? Okay, so to do my star, I'm going to go back and delete my edit points that I have on here. Go to my home tab, select my points, and let's just start again. Now, if you want this template to be the entire size of this, you can go modify template and you can hold your shift key down and make it bigger because the shift key keeps it in the middle. That allows you to manipulate it all the way off, okay? So I'm going to also dim this down a little bit so we can see my little lines as I put them in, and go to the Home tab and go to the Select Point tool. When you use the Select Point tool, you click on the line to insert one, and then you take it and you move it. And you have to make it between the blue and the red. Think of this as string art. You got to make everything from one piece of string. So, therefore, you either have to go over the top twice or the bottom twice to get back to the beginning, unless you want to have a line going through the center. That is up to you. If you want a line going through the center, that's fine. You can do that. Normally, I don't do that. But that's personal preference. There is no right or wrong. It's what you desire. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make my little my motif. And the fun thing about these in P Design, they can be used as fills as well. They don't have to just be outlines. They can be used as fills in P Design. In my Design Center on the machine, they are used only as outlines. So I'm going to show you a trick that I do. I take this and run it all the way across the center. That way I know where my line is and I can just kind of back it up here. That way I don't have to keep pulling from the side and bring it in. But you're going to notice that if I put my preview window up, let's go view and put my preview window up for you to be able to see it. So this is my preview right now. That's what it looks like. So you can see that line going through the center that I added when I drug that across. And that's what I'll come back and take down around again. So you could leave it going across, and I'll save it both ways for you so you can see, which means I need to put my USB drive back in. And I'm just clicking and dragging. So you click to insert it, click back on it and drag it down. Click to insert, click back on and drag it down. And we're about done. Okay, so we'll save it once you can see that line's going across it. So let me put my USB drive back in here. And I'll do a file save as. And let's see here, this PC. Here is which drive is it? Maybe? Nope. Nope. Oh, play nice with me. Well, hold on. Yes, the space between the dots affects the motif, and I'll show you what it does here in a minute. Well, this is just not liking me. Hold on a second. So your space between your dots does make a difference. So if I come in here and I grab this dot and I move it, and I grab this dot and I move it, you'll notice that if I come in too far, it's going to overlap my stars. So it does make a difference. You have control over that, but it can definitely make a difference. All right. I'm going to do File, Save As again. Let's see, which drive is it? I want to try this one. So it's not that drive. Hold on. It's not liking my drive, so let's put it in a different spot. There we go. There we go. Come on. Let me see which one it is. Refresh. Huh. Now, open is not going to work for me, gang. It's got to find my drive. So let's see here. It just has to find my drive, and I have to figure out which one it's going to be. So yes, I put it back in here. I took it out and I put it back in. It's just not finding the silly drive. So let me get a different one. All right, hang tight. Hold the boat. Let's see. What do you think we're in? Aha, there we go. Now it likes this one. All right. Let's come back over here. File, Save As. There we go. Star. We'll call this one Star 1. I'm not going to put it in motifs and fills. I'm just going to leave it outside so we know that this is what we've done. So now I'm going to go back over this and match up my little edit nodes here so that you can see what happens when you make one side heavier than the other so that you don't have a line running down the center of them. And we'll do both. I'm going to do the programmable fill while I'm here as well, once we get in there. And I'm coming down. Oh, and it is best if you can get these right on top of each other, as close to it as possible, because then your lines, when you make them bigger, it doesn't get wonky. Not a big deal on a small one. And you can use your arrow keys to match them up if you need to. But it's not a big deal when you're making them small, but if you make them big, you definitely do see the difference. Because these can go rather large. About 4 inches, if I recall correctly. In the software itself, I haven't played to see how big I can make them over in my design center, but they can be quite large here. And honestly, I do use my little arrow key on my keyboard to nudge them where I need them to go, because I'm not always spot on. All right, there we go. So, and you can see over here, it's showing you where I'm not quite where I need to be. So let's see if I can zoom in on this. Will it let me? Yes, sweet. That may be an update, girls. That's one I've asked for years. It's amazing. That's better. Now let's fix this one. too far over. There we go. Looks like I have a problem on the right-hand side as well. Yep, you can see it right there. There we go. This one needs a little bit of help too. Not much, but a little bit. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Here's one that's a little off. Nothing's major. Okay, well, that looks pretty decent. Let's do a file save as, and we'll call this one star 2. So y'all can see the difference when we go to stitch them out. Okay, so while we're here, we're going to go up to the file pull down button, and we are going to do new decorative fill pattern. And I'm going to just put on a grid because this is easier. Straight lines are the easiest. You all can mess with this and play all you want. I am not going to go into the finer details of this one today, but we are going to make one that will be kind of fun to stitch out. And looks like I missed a crisscross. Okay, we'll add that one in. We'll do a file save as, and we'll call this one crisscross. Okay, so now let me eject my hardware. So let me close this program out and eject. Okay, so if you turn on your grid to make those decorative fills, you will find that linear ones are really easy to work with, and they work perfect the first time. They will stay connected. So it did not like my USB that I was putting back in. So today it just doesn't like that one. So I'm not going to worry about it. Just pick a different one. All right, so let's go back over to the Luminaire, and we'll go plop these in. Okay, I'm putting it in my top USB port. You can put it in either one, but let's say we wanted to do, let's just go home again. My design center, and let's pick something out of here. Oh, how about we do this one? Let's just do a shape, an outline shape. I'm going to come in and pick my motif. So these are your motif stitches. Select, choose custom out of the pocket. And if I had to put it in the lower port, I would choose that one. That one's not loaded. So this is the one. Here is my star with a line through it. When I touch OK, pick my color. Let's go with green just so you can see it. Paint bucket and tap it. Touch next, and there you go. So let's zoom in on that so you can see it. Pan. And you see how that line's going down through the middle. Let's make this bigger. I don't know how big I can make these. We'll see. Oh, quite big. So there you go. But you can see that line sewing through the middle of it. If we pick the other star, and let's make it bigger too so you can see it. You'll notice that it is not going through the center of this one. Okay, so that makes a difference. You always have the option of spacing them further out if you want to, and you can flip their direction. Just like I said a minute ago, you still have that flip option here, which is quite nice. And they look really funky flipped upside down, so let's keep them the other direction. Now, if I wanted to fill this one in with a fill stitch, let's go back. And let's go find our motif stitch that we did a minute ago. I mean, our programmable fill that we did. We'll go select, custom, out of the pocket. Here's my crisscross. And we'll go that with red for that one, paint bucket, fill it in. And there you go. If you want an outline, you can turn it on. You can change your direction, so you can change the angle of it to see if you like it a different direction. You can change the size up and down 50% to 50% and up to 200%. And you can change it, the thickness level. And you've still got your random shift options as well. So if you want a random shift, you can play with your shifts and have fun. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back and see if we have other questions. And then we shall sign off for the day. Let's see here. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. So yeah, y'all were worried about my drive. It just was not being recognized. It's this little guy right here, and it wasn't being recognized. So it was being a little bit funky. So the line that stays was the one where I did not reconnect things. So remember that star, when I drug the line over, you have to go around the whole star. And when you go around the whole star, since you have to create the motif between 2 points, it's made out of one piece of string, basically. You either have to go all the way back around the bottom or the top, or you're going to have the line going across the center, okay? That's why I showed you both options so that you would see the difference between the two. I pick the side that it's going to be easiest to go back around. So I'm either going to be top heavy or bottom heavy. It all depends on what your preference is. Pick the easiest side. So let me show you, for example. Okay, let's come over here and open up our motif creator again. All right, so let's come in here and go File, New Motif. And if we go to our open a template, and let's say we chose the chicken. Oh, no. I want one that's easier on the top. So let me back up. All right. So, nope, that's still not a good one. Everything seems to be bottom heavy for me. I'm trying to see one that would be easier to go around the top twice. Okay, this one right here. So if you look at this one, there's more detail going around the bottom than there is around the top. So for this one, instead of creating my motif, oops, too low. Instead of going back over the bottom twice, I would go over the top twice, just simply because that would be easier. Now, this would not be a good motif to do. I'll be perfectly honest. That would be a pain in the patootie. I might pick one of the rabbits and do it, but I would not pick all of them. That would not be an optimal one to choose. You have to think about what you're doing because it's what it's stitching. This one right here, on the other hand, instead of going back over the top again, I would go back over the bottom because there's less clicks to make. So I'm looking at it in how can I do this in the fewest clicks, okay? So, okay. Yeah, there are two ways that you can do this. You can either do a decorative fill across the whole thing and then put your embroidery design over the top of it, or you can put your embroider your design first and have the decorative fill go around it. So in PE Design 11, we have a feature in layout and editing that if we bring in a design, so let me go new, and let me go to import, and let's say, oh, here, we'll just grab a quilt pattern. So here's my quilt pattern, and I have a 5x7 hoop up. If I want to quilt around this design in a decorative fill or in stippling, I have this little button called background fill. When I touch the background fill button, I can choose to click around that edge. You can choose stippling, decorative fill, or a crosshatch and stripe. Touch next, and you'll notice that my stippling is going around the outside edge, not under the pattern. And that's what I prefer to do. But some people do the whole thing as a stippling first and then lay their design on top of it. It really depends on what you prefer, okay? So you'll notice that here the stippling is going on around the outside edge. If we undo that and we go back in and do background fill again, and this time we choose decorative fill, you choose your decorative fill that you want to use. Let me bring it back over here. And let's say I want to use this one right here. You'll notice that it's going around the outside edge. But if I wanted to go under it, I exclude internal patterns. I take that off. And so now you can see that the decorative fill would be underneath the entire embroidery design. For this one, that would not be optimal because it's a running stitch design. And once we took away that hole that was created, you can't tell what that embroidery design is. However, if it was an embroidery design like this, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because you've got a solid design going on top of it. But personally, I like to have that decorative edge go around the outside edge. Okay. All right, guys, are there any other questions? I do not see. So what I do when I stitch those, I'll stitch the decorative pattern, I'll stitch my embroidery pattern, and then I'll float my batting and my backing underneath it and do the quilting around the outer edge. That is what I prefer. But everybody has a different take on it, okay? So glad you guys could join me today. If you have all right, guys, I am on the road pretty much constantly between events and family stuff going on. I'm on the road pretty much constantly. You guys need to send me questions. If you still want lives to happen, you need to send me questions so that we can have those lives. Today, I think you got a little bit of fun. Oh, I was going to show you I was going to show you the other update features. Give me just a second. I'll flip back over there. Oops, wrong one. Hold on. I forgot about that. Hold the boat. So let's go back over here for a second and we'll go to the sewing side for a minute. You do also get the new stylus, which I do not have yet. It is a finer tipped stylus. So you don't have to use this big guy anymore, except for on the sewing side. But if we go into sewing and we look at what's update versus upgrade. Update, when you go into your guideline marker, if you set up the guideline and you're sewing down the right side, and you've got your guideline set up for the right side, if you want to go to the left side and do the same thing, you can hit the guideline flip, and that is update, okay? Upgrade, on the other hand, on the sewing side, let me close that. If you scroll over here, you have stitch tapering, okay? Stitch tapering gives you different stitch tapering options. And when you open your settings for that, down here you get a new little icon, tapering icon, and you can choose the way you want to end it. So you have different starting angles. You can start at 60, all of these different angles for your start point. And then you can choose how you want the end to look as well. So if I wanted my end to look different, you'll notice that that tapering is not as severe at the end on that one. If I want it to be more severe, look how that goes. So this is kind of fun to play with, making leaves and making flowers on the sewing side of things. it really is pretty cool. You can also make your own frames out of it. There's quite a bit that you can do with your stitch tapering. All right, on the embroidery side, if you go into embroidery, we have a few new options over here. So we have large connect embroidery designs. So these are your 5 large connected embroidery designs. And somebody asked me if we could do more. You can do it in a different manner with PE design using your custom hoop, okay? If you use the custom hoop, you would have these little lines, okay? But I don't know that we can still go this large. I mean, these are huge. So when you touch one, you go ahead and touch set, and then touch embroidery. And at the bottom, you'll see the pattern connect by camera. So when let me go in here and go to the last stitch. So I'm going to back up one color and go to the very last stitch, which is 36. Okay, so let's go up 1,000. All right, there we go. So I should be at the last stitch. So if I put my foot down and act like I take that stitch, oh, I got to have a frame in here. Do I have one on here? Let me find one. Oh, it won't let me do that. I got to be in a big enough hoop. All right, guys, I'm not going to be able to fake this. But anyhow, when you take that last stitch, you'll see it asks you if you want to do the next one. You'll use the snowman positioning markers. It will show you on your bed of your hoop how to do it. And then it'll ask to bring up the next pattern. And you'll press the pattern connect button that pops up down at the bottom. Okay. I'll do that another day when I actually have my frames in the room with me. So that's those. And then we have new, what I call string art patterns. They're long stitch designs. Okay. You have like a bunny, you have an owl, you have some flowers. These are not necessarily meant for clothing because they are long stitches. And let me set one so you can see what I mean. Let's zoom in on this. So do you see how those stitches are really, really long? They will pick out if you try to put them on clothing. So that's not what they're meant. They're more meant for home decor and things like that. Okay. What else do we have in here? Oh, the bomb. We have edge to edge quilting patterns. Number 4, if you put your update on here, you'll see the grayed out items that you get as your upgrade. So your update will show you that you have a new stitch category if you upgrade. This one will be grayed out. But these are our quilting patterns, and you simply touch them just like our quilt sash borders. You type in, you choose what hoop you want to do it in. So if I want to use my new 10 by 10 magnetic frame, I touch the 10 by 10. I tell it how wide my project is. So let's say my project is 35 inches wide. I set that. How tall is my project? 45 inches. Set that. And you can choose your flip options. So you can have them flip different directions, or you can have them going all the same direction. Once you've made your decision, go ahead and touch next. And it will divide it out into your parts, and it shows you're going to go left to right, top to bottom, and there's a total of 42 pieces for this one. So I would be rehooping this 42 times. And you can choose single or triple. All right, so mine is saved it into the machine's memory. I can't save it off of the machine's memory. But if you touch in here and you touch the one with the repeats, this one, the first tile, it will take you into the first screen and it will walk you through the whole process. Here you go. You're going to hoop in the upper left-hand corner and you're going to get started and take off and multiply. It will walk you through the whole process. And I'll do this another day, but you'll notice that it stitches. Let me see if I can zoom in on that for you to see it. Oh, cancel. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go zoom. So you see this little mark right here? That is your alignment mark for the second row. And it will give you that to where, and it will project it down on there for you to see it. But these line up really nice and it's super fast to do. I suggest doing them with the magnetic frames. Okay. That is what I will tell you. So let me come back over and see what else we've got question wise. And let me see here. Flip back to me. Okay. Yvonne, yes, you could create long stitch patterns, not automatically, but you could do that just by converting to stitches and deleting some stitches. Okay. Let's see here. I will be at the Greater Wisconsin Quilt Show in Madison. I think it starts September the 8th. So it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay. I'm not sure what the how is asking, Julia. So let's see here. Oh, how do you ask questions? You ask, post them in on my Facebook page or send them to me via Messenger. Either way will work. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, tapering, I think there's lots of options for stitch tapering, especially if you're a garment sewer. I think you can do a bunch of stuff with that. There is not, the multi-needle has my design center in it, and it has some of the decorative fills, but it does not have all of the updated features that the Luminaire has. Okay. So long stitch pattern, I already answered that one. Yeah, they're pretty, but you do have to remember they are not meant for garment sewing. Okay, so not for garment decoration because they will pick out. They are long stitches. Think of it. You remember those when we used to do nails? They'd put nails in pieces of board and you'd wrap the string around it. That's what I would consider it, string art. Okay. I look forward to seeing you in Madison as well. Marcia, I do not have California on my travel schedule at this time, but there's always a chance that it will happen. One never knows. Oh, and there is one other thing I forgot. There is a new filled couching font. So hold on, I'll show you that one real quick before I get on there. And you do not do couching with the long stitch patterns. It would not stay in. So couching has to have a stitch that will tack it down. But let me show you the long stitch, the couching alphabet. I knew there was one thing I was forgetting. That is the last of the upgrade. So if I go into embroidery and go into my couching, you'll notice you now have a new alphabet here. So these are the filled couching letters. And they basically come in one at a time. So if you want to come in and add another one. And I'll add another one. And I'm going to move this one over. And if I want to align them all up, let's go select them all. Say okay, edit, and go to your alignment tools here and align to, where is it? The center. There you go. Or bottom or top. But those are done with the embroidery couching foot. Okay. And that's how, and those are all done with embroidery couching. So those are fun. Let me switch back over and see if there's anything else that I haven't answered. I have not been to North Carolina in a while, except for virtually. We haven't been anywhere in a while until just recently. We've just started traveling again. So now that we are traveling, we are getting, we're getting more assignments. People are starting to go again. The requirements are getting, it's not as strict, but we are still on a month-to-month basis. I still don't know if my travel is approved yet for September. So we have to wait until they approve our travel. I'm scheduled for this event, but Brother hasn't approved travel for September yet. So I'm waiting on that one. Yes, I do still have Princess. She has not come in to tell us that it's time for a walk yet because it's hot. And so we go a little bit later in the day right now. She has gotten out of the habit of having to go at 4:30 exactly. She has started saying, okay, I can wait till 5 or 5:30. Marilyn, you would have to do a 2-step upgrade. You have to go from 9 to 10 if it's still available, and then you can go from 10 to 11. So that's really the difference. There's not just one upgrade that you can go now. When they change dongles, guys, that is what I've always told you. If we change a dongle, you need to jump that year because you never know how long they're going to allow you to upgrade from one version to the next. So that's really when we change dongles, you need to go ahead and upgrade that year. So if you can still find an upgrade to 10, that will get you to 11. What would have taken a half hour? I have no idea. Okay. All right, guys. You all have a great rest of your day. Hopefully, I will see you next week. I'm planning on it, but we shall see. Okay. Depends on what life throws my way. But at this point, I am planning on being live again next Tuesday before I leave out on Wednesday. Actually, I don't leave next week. So right now, I'm currently planning on being live on Tuesday. So yes, the couching ABC. It would take yes. It would take quite a while. Now, obviously, I did not stitch any of that, but lining it up, not a big deal. All right, guys, you all have a blast. Have a good rest of the weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.